The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of NWA Crockett Cup 2023 from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, June 3rd, June 4th, now for night 2 of the Crockett Cup. So I've already been through night 1, which was quite the experience, quite a long show. When I'm also reviewing the pre-shows of these nights here for the National Wrestling Alliance. Let's crack on with it, shall we? For night 2 here, the pre-show, we're starting off with the tag team gauntlet for the NWA United States tag team titles. So the Country Gentlemen defending against Toxin and Arez, the Spectaculars, Savages, T.N.T, Talos and Daisy Kill, the Fixers, the Now, and Magnum Muscle. So first thing I think is another hour-long pre-show. Fuck me in the hole. Just Jesus. Okay, here we go. It's okay. I understand. They got a lot of people there to get out and work, but man, I'm used to that nice little tight 30-minute pre-show for an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view or whatever, or ignoring the WWE pre-shows because they don't actually do anything on them except talk at a panel about all the storylines going on. Boring. But anyway, so we start off Magnum Muscle. I have to give them props for that suplex power slam combo. I think it's a nice tag team maneuver. They eliminated the Now very quickly, and that was very welcome. The Fixers were in next. I thought that they were going to eliminate Magnum Muscle, but Magnum Muscle managed to eliminate the Fixers. Interesting. Seems like the Fixers can't seem to get the job done lately after being former US tag champs themselves. Talos and Daisy Kill were in next. They need theme music, dude, when they come out. And Daisy Kill looks like Lenny Lane. Huge chokeslam from Talos to eliminate Magnum Muscle. T.N.T was out next. The Crockett Cup being so tag team focused, I would have preferred some singles matches filling the pre-show, but that's okay. We did get some. I'll stop whinging. T.N.T again are showing that they're a little bit green, right? They hit a 3D, but I think they shouldn't do that move because they don't need to hang their hat on their father's legacy. I think they need their own thing. That's just me. The Spectaculars were out after this, and they eliminated them with a big time elbow drop from the top rope. Savages out next. Yes, this is a whirlwind. I was thinking, you know what? Carl Davis has so much going on with his interviewing duties that perhaps they need a separate person for ring announcing, unless he doesn't mind being so busy. Nothing against his ring announcing or anything, but I just feel like, geez, this guy's wearing a lot of hats here. So this is my third Savages match in 2 days. Getting a little bit long in the tooth. That's okay. A lot of teams I've seen wrestle more than 2 matches. So Jack Stain kills Rolando with a clothesline for the best spot of the match. Toxin and Arez are in next. So, the US Tag Title Gauntlet is for all the teams that got eliminated yesterday and before that. A Trooplex from Blake Troop to pin Arez. Man, I think Arez, he puts on face paint. Imagine putting on that face paint, taking ages to do it, only to be eliminated in 90 seconds. Unless he didn't take it off last night. Blake Troop needs to be more like 100% confident in his movement. He's at about 85%. He hesitates slightly before things, especially when feeding for bumps. It's like he's trying to remember what exactly is happening, and you can just feel a bit of a hesitation here and there. Troop gets laid out, and I love that Chris Silvio, Esquire, got copped a kick to the mouth on the outside before the finish, and the Country Gentlemen retain, which I would expect considering this is a pre-show on YouTube. Coming up next, Thrillbilly takes on Dan Maff. I said Maff yesterday because a typical Australian, but obviously the story going into all this is Thrillbilly being unable to become the national champion, being, a little bit mad with Pollo Del Mar and walking out on her after She was out cold on the outside and had, as Joe Galley described, damage to the bones in her neck. I don't know why it made me laugh. It just did. But Dan Maff is one big bastard. So I thought this was going to be interesting. The speed, pizzazz, and power of Thrillbilly, and the brute strength of Maff. Best thing that happened on the Crockett Cup. Okay, Joe Galley is talking to Tim Storm, and he's got his hand on the table. And whilst his hand's on the table, Thrillbilly slams Dan Maff's head into the announce table, and it connects with Joe Galley's hand. And he starts screaming that he thinks that his hand was broken. I loved it. I loved that so much. I rewound and watched that like 4 times. And then I even clipped it and put it on Twitter because I just thought that that was just so hilarious. Joe asking for ice from backstage was fantastic. And then Tim Storm following it up, asking for a Diet Coke. Really good stuff. That was the biggest highlight of the match for me. Nothing against the guys. I thought that they worked well together. It was very physical. And the thrill ride from Thrillbilly got the win. Let's move forward. NWA World Women's Tag Team titles. M95 of Missa Kate and Maddie defending against Max the Impaler and Angelina Love. So that's an interesting team. And look, you know what? I'm going to say things because I want to say them. Angelina Love has a really cute butt. Thank you. Missa Kate and Maddie had a great night 1. That hardcore war against Pretty Empowered was very entertaining. Maddie is sexy. Angelina is a veteran now, and she's still very good in the ring. It's so obvious that she's still got it, and I'm glad that she's still going. Not many notes on this one, unfortunately. There was a kick fillet from Missa Kate, who picked up the win over Angelina. And Max the Impaler did do a lot in this as far as character work's concerned, not kind of understanding what's going on with the tag team rules, having to be told by Sinister Minister, no, this is how it works, this is what you got to do. So, I kind of like that. Let's move forward again. NWA Women's Television Championship, the first time I'm seeing Kenzie Paige defend the belt against Ruthy J. I kind of thought this was going to happen after yesterday's hardcore war. I just had a little bit of a feeling, a little hunch. This pre-show, I think, has been easy to digest than yesterday's because yesterday's just had so many matches, so many tag matches. Knowing that you're going to be going to a pay-per-view where you're going to see even more tag team matches. But anyway, I think Kenzie's bumps from arm drags and hip tosses are absolutely fantastic. She takes it ferociously, bro. You can see Kenzie has put in the work in the last year. All that work, you can see it paying off. Or the last year and a half I've written, actually. Ruthy J again with that roll through bridging German. She's pretty good, to be honest. Looking forward to seeing how she develops as a character in the National Wrestling Alliance going forward. Then out of the blue, Kylie Paige comes in and drop kicks Ruthy, and the referee spots it. And it's a DQ finish. And then Kenzie and Kylie are arguing with the referee about it. And I'm like, what are you arguing with them about? It's such an obvious DQ. Just come running in and drop kicking the shit out of her. So that was kind of funny. I think the pay-per-view is beginning at this point. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, that was the main event of the pre-show. Let's get to the main pay-per-view here, night 2 of the Crockett Cup. Quarterfinals number 1, Myzteziz and Octogon Jr. taking on the brothers of Funstruction. I'm getting sick of the clowns, especially with the air balloon sword. I was a bit, the stereo suicide dives. I'm just like, whatever, because I just see it all the time now. But this match it was actually not bad. Good pace cut, good suspense, great 450 from Octogon. And it was just a fantastic, nice and quick match. I like it. I don't want a lot of these to go on too long. Coming up next, quarterfinals number 2, Ricky and Kerry, the Mortons, taking on Knox and Murdoch. As the Mortons are making their entrance, as we know on night 1, they turned heel after clocking their opponents with a title belt. Bobby Fulton comes out during their entrance and tells them off. I like it. I think the presentation of Knox and Murdoch is cool. And I thought to myself, I hope they win. I hope they win this whole thing. Ricky Morton as a heel is hilarious to me. He starts off the match by low-blowing Trevor Murdoch. It's so fun. And it must be fun for Ricky Morton to be a heel for once after all these years of being a babyface. I don't know. I'm sure there has been times where he's been a heel. I'm sure, like, you know, when they did the NWA invasion of WWE, they were technically a heel. But, you know, he's actually getting to do some real good heel stuff here. And I think Kerry Morton has been upping the ante with his aggression as a heel. So that is good stuff. I really think Mike Knox has now, you know, he comes in like a house of fire during this match. I think he's really found his groove since getting to the NWA. Obviously, he wasn't wrestling that often before he came in. And now I think he's really found his groove. So, you know, I'm kind of proud of him. And they hit that great maneuver, the high-low, the chop block with a clothesline at the same time on Kerry Morton very ferociously. And they advance, and they are in the hunt, boy. Coming up next. I'm going through this pretty quickly, but quarterfinals number 3, Tyrus and Chris Masters, the Midnight Riders, brother, taking on Kratos and Odinson. Tyrus and Kratos start off by trading shots. I like it, but then Tyrus buckles his knee. Kratos kind of slams Tyrus. Hey, look, E for effort, bro. That's a hell of a big bastard right there. He's a big Rhino. Tyrus having to sell a knee makes him slower, which isn't fun to watch. He did charge at Odinson in the corner, and it took forever to get there, and it looked really sloppy. Sorry. Adonis, still very good. I say it every time. The guy still is in his prime. Master lock on Odinson, who was going for one of his patented uppercuts, and Odinson passes out nice and quick again. The Midnight Riders right on to the next round. We get our legend cameo here on night 2 with referee Tommy Young showing up. I've been waiting for him to be strolled out for a while now. And, you know, I think he did well on the mic there, calling himself, I was Tommy Young, but now I'm Tommy Old. You are, mate, but you're still great. Quarterfinals number 4, Blunt Force Trauma with Aaron Stevens taking on La Rebelion with Vampiro at ringside. So they ditched Damien says to have Vampiro. So this should be interesting. Hopefully Vamp actually sticks around a while. I'd like to see what's going to go, what's going to come of this trio here in the NWA. And it's kind of strange that they would need backup at this point when they've been the tag champions for so long. You know, do they really need the backup? But this was very good too. And I think BFT really were being pushed to their limit by the intense La Rebelion, who I assumed were going to be winning this. Vampiro goes to get involved, but then gets pushed off the top rope and does like kind of like a corkscrew, you know, spitting, you know, whatever you call it, and cops a big bump. And then BFT managed to get the win over La Rebelion. And I was like, I don't know, man. Nothing against BFT winning because I was really impressed with their work the whole weekend. But I don't agree with Vampiro's first outing with La Rebelion ending in a loss. Just to me, that just seems like, well, they were winning, you know, they have been winning for some time, and it's the first time that they're out there with him at the beginning of the match. And he's been a big part in them losing a match and being eliminated from the tournament. Aaron Stevens gets heat on the mic after the match. But yeah, it was a great match. Don't get me wrong. Just not sure if that really cements Vampiro as a good outside the ring kind of guy for La Rebelion. If immediately he's already not been able to establish himself by being able to get them to at least continue moving forward in the tournament here. Yes, I know he helped them the previous night, but this is the first time he's out there the whole match. Let's move forward. NWA National Championship. EC3 defends against, it's his choice. He gets to choose his challenger. And he decides to choose Tom Latimer. Champion's choice. Why didn't you choose Rolando Freeman? Come on. But you know, he wants to, he's going to show he's a real man, and he's going to pick, you know, someone who is an equal to him for this challenge. And he calls himself the Overman because he's over, man. I don't mean to pick on EC3, but I think that's shit. I'm sorry. Anyway, hopefully this time the match is better than the last time these two had that match where it was just, I don't know, the storyline took over the whole match and it was just a real disappointment for me. So EC3 offers him to challenge for his title if he's going to be greedy, or he could offer up to defend his television title. Why would he defend his title? Of course he'd be greedy. And this got me thinking, like, what happened to control your narrative? And I did a little Google research, and the company's already defunct. So it's a shame. And I think the idea of it was interesting, but I guess it just didn't work. Latimer kicked out of a headlock driver. There was a big time superplex as well. EC3 grabs his title belt as Tom Latimer is getting into the ring. He kicks the rope into Latimer's dick, then hits a pile driver, and EC3 retains. Let's move forward. So yeah, that was a good match. But the Thrillbilly match the night before was better. Okay. This is the 6-man scramble where the winner will get a future shot at the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. But then it became a 7-man scramble. Eric Jackson, Jarron Fulton, not Darren, not Jared, Jarron. Jarron Fulton, PJ Hawks, Gags the Gimp, Flip Gordon, Joe Alonzo, and the surprise 7th man in this scramble, Colby Carino. So I feel bad for that guy that didn't, that lost to Joe Alonzo the night before. Was it Alex Taylor? You know, to qualify for the final spot, and then Colby Carino just gets thrown in. I would assume Flip might win, so Kerry works with a baby face. So there was a hot flurry of a match to start off the proceedings here. I did think it was cool that Jarron, not Darren or Jared, Jarron was wearing his father's boots from the original Crockett Cup. Crockett Cup. What is that? Like the NWA's porn version of this show. Crockett Cup, my bad. Here we go. We have to do a bunch of dives. It doesn't mean anything anymore. To me anyway. Probably because I only just watched AEW Double or Nothing the other day. I appreciate that the NWA don't do it that often, though. Judias rocks up out of nowhere. An outsider's edge on Gags onto a pile of people standing and waiting to catch him on the outside. Again, I don't like that stuff. But then Judias takes Gags backstage over his shoulder with Sinister Minister. I don't know what you need him for. I mean, I don't... Like, what are you going to do? Turn him into like a killer? You know, brainwash him into becoming, a real helpful henchman. It's Gags the Gimp, bro. Jarron Fulton, again, I think he did good for, being a young lad rookie out there. Chip off the old block, mate. Forearm trades from Flip and Colby, another pet peeve. Because then it always ends up with that thing where like someone runs off the ropes, and as they hit the ropes and turn around, the guy's like forearmed him. And then they turn around and run across the ropes, and as they bounce off, boom, they get hit with a forearm. I hate the same spots that I always see. Sorry. Anyway, I'm sure there was a ripcord in this match and a high kick on the ring apron to someone who's in the ring. That's the same old things that you see all the time, and it gets a little tiresome. Anyway, Colby pins Flip, which is a stupid name, Flip. Not a bad finish. The match was a little boring for me, though. It was a real coincidence. Everyone was out cold on the floor at the time of the pinfall, like, because I felt like Colby and Gordon were in the ring for quite some time there. Like, well, did the bump from Gags the Gimp really knock you out for that long? It's stuff like that with these multi-man matches that just drives me crazy. Let's move forward. Semi-final, number 1, Crockett Cup. Night 2, Blunt Force Trauma, with their boy Aaron Stevens taking on Octogon Jr. and Myzteziz Jr. The big boys, the big bastards, attack from the outset. They throw them to the outside. They keep beating down on them. The luchas use their quickness to fire back. The heat comes onto the luchadors. Good. Rodney Mack, aka Damage, putting his working boots on this weekend, having wrestled so much. Good on you, mate. I'm a big fan of Rodney, but I'd be a bigger fan if he didn't no-show my podcast twice in 2021 and not make it up to me. It's a little frustrating, just saying, me sitting there at like midnight, like in front of my computer, waiting for someone to enter a call, and then they just don't. And you can see that they're online and they're not replying. Myzteziz is such an annoying name to try and spell. Every time I've written it, I've spelled it wrong in my notes here. He gets the hot tag. I felt like this was going to end soon at this point. It was a nice frog splash from Octogon. Myzteziz then, though, goes to the top rope after having slammed down, I believe it was Rodney Mack, Damage, whatever. He goes to the top rope and completely misses a shooting star press, like fell so short of the target, did not even touch him, completely missed. And we all have to still sit there and pretend he hit it. Like, I know that this stuff's all been mapped out in the match or whatever, but when things like this happen, like, I really feel like you got to pivot. Like, if I know that a guy completely missed a move onto me, I'm not going to sell it and allow him to go for a pin. Like, there's just no way. And I'm not knocking Damage or Rodney for not, thinking on his toes and pivoting there. But, and Myzteziz didn't even try and like sell the fact that he completely missed it and sell the fact that he hit the ring. That's just one thing, okay? It's everything else was great in the match. That was just like a real big blunder. And we get the double flatliner from Blunt Force Trauma. They advanced to the finals. Very good. Didn't see that coming, to be honest, because it's not often you see guys in hoods in pro wrestling. Like, and I'm not talking about masked luchador type wrestlers. Like, they're guys in hoods. It's like the Texas Hangman, etc. Not often you see them kind of get pushed like that in this day and age. Semi-final number 2 coming up right here, right now. The Midnight Riders, Tyrus and Chris Adonis take on Knox and Murdoch. This was going to be a barn burner, I was sure. As long as Tyrus was kept on the outside most of the time. Sorry, I don't mean to pick on him like everyone else does, but a nice back and forth early with Adonis and Knox. Tyrus ends up getting in there. The knee is the psychology here again as Knox and Murdoch targeted. Tyrus cops a double suplex, which looked really tough to accomplish. Well done, boys. And I was thinking, I think Knox and Murdoch are going to win this one, because I just don't see them going to another match with Tyrus, selling the knee like this. Tyrus does hit a T-bone and gets the hot tag to Chris Adonis. Master lock on Knox. Trevor tries to get in to stop it. He swings. He misses. Master lock for him. Then he manages to slip out of it as Knox hits a cross body on Adonis. Nice drama. Adonis crushed in the corner. Hits with a high-low, the clothesline chop block combination. And they clogged him, bro. And it was over. Tyrus was too slow to stop them. And honestly, the way that he rolled into the ring to try and stop it, he just looked so fucking useless. Okay, coming up next. No DQ match. Scion with his father, Austin Idol, at ringside, taking on the masked man, I guess that they're calling him. The guy that attacked Scion during his match yesterday on night 1. So his mask is black, but it's the same print as Scion's mask. They have the same build as Tim Storm was talking about there. They're very similar in many ways. Idol comes out super late in Scion's entrance, so we kind of know a heel turn's coming. Masked Man comes out to his own theme, which is White Noise, not the Living End song White Noise, actual White Noise. So we don't know who the Masked Man is. I would have thought that Scion, the psychology of this, Scion would be desperate to unmask him and find out who he is and why he attacked him. I would have thought that would have been very clear psychology to use in this match. Sion was beating the shit out of him, don't get me wrong, but you'd think he'd go to the mask because it seemed that the masked man was way more interested in trying to rip at Sion's mask, even though the masked man probably already knows who Sion is. Just to me, I thought, wouldn't Sion be the one trying to figure out who this wanker is that attacked him the previous evening? Joe Galley did mention at one point that, the crowd is silent here. They must be, I don't know, just flabbergasted or whatever. But I think it was because there was no hate behind this. He attacked him the night before, and the first match between the two is the next evening. I don't know. Not sure about that. I would have kept having the attacks take place before Sion finally begged for this guy to wrestle him. At this one stage, I believe Sion gets thrown into the timekeeper's table and something falls off the table, and Kyle Davis looks super pissed off and grabbed something and walked off. I assume it's the tech for his microphone or something like that, but I could see he looked really mad. So yeah, the Austin Idol thing is clearly a heel turn that's coming towards his son, Sion. There's heat from the masked man, and then Austin Idol hits Sion in the head with Knox. And then Jordan Clearwater comes out and he gets hit with Knox by Austin Idol. Joe Galley, that's your son. He's turned on his son. Sion is knocked out. Match can't continue. Jordan Clearwater is piled on top of him. He just spat on his own son and Jordan Clearwater, says Joe Galley, because Austin Idol spat on him. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think the psychology of the match could have been a little bit more, not nonsensical, but sensical. Thank you. Pollo Del Mar has an interview. One thing I laughed at here. So if this were real, right? Pollo took this bump off the ring apron yesterday. Pollo has damaged neck bones, as Joe Galley mentioned earlier. So now Pollo Del Mar is wearing a neck brace. So you would imagine that Pollo went to the hospital, had to get the neck brace put on. And I don't know, something about it makes me laugh that still got up the next day, got all done up in drag with a neck brace on. I don't know why. made the effort to go all the way back to the venue after what had happened, just to cut an interview. I don't know, it just makes me laugh. Coming up next, here we go, bro. NWA World Women's Championship. Queen Camille. She defends the championship here against Natalia Markova, who is also a queen, who owns it in life, just like her opponent, Camille. I would consider them my two favorites in the NWA. Yes, I am a male, but I also like their wrestling. Okay, it's not just about looks. Okay, I'm not that shallow. Here we go. Natalia Markova is making her entrance, and I'm here for it, bro. Like when George Costanza had a little bit of an issue after getting a massage from a man, I think it moved. I'm hilarious. I make myself laugh. An awesome outfit for Camille's entrance. She is the blonde Wonder Woman. Let's see how much Camille makes Natalia look good before retaining so that Camille looks good, because she gets it. You make your opponent shine. You make it look like they take you to the limit, and you still retain. That makes Camille look even better. Excellent. Wicked spot to start the match, dude. Kyle's trying to announce both combatants in this matchup. Natalia does her usual splits on the ring apron, and I was laughing so hard. Camille just charges at her and hits a flying drop kick to her, and she just gets yocked, man. She went flying off the ring apron straight into the concrete. Oh, Joe Galley screaming, she just drop kicked her onto the concrete. Like he was almost like spitting as he was saying, so he was so upset about the situation. Camille, she's in large and in charge here to begin this matchup. I've got so many notes here because I really liked a lot of these spots. Natalia copying a sweep into the turnbuckle. Camille showing the power advantage early. dominating early here, knowing Natalya was a tough opponent. So using tactics she wouldn't usually use, she had to use them to get the advantage here because she's a bit concerned because they went to a time limit draw the last time they had a match. Natalya again crashing to the outside. Joe Galley, her knees hit the concrete. She's not even wearing knee pads. Thanks for the info, bro. Camille is so attractive, man. She's so fit. She's an alpha female. No, I'm not a simp. Okay, I'm not a simp. I'm an alpha male too, okay? So I'm not a simp. I don't want to hear any of that shit. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. What can I say? I'm not a simp. It makes me sound like I'm weak. Notice how the crowd are always into Camille's matches. The heat is there every time. Natalya is sat down onto a steel chair on the outside of the ring. Camille runs at her and hits a boot straight to her. And Natalya flies off the chair and smashes into the guardrail. Natalya, you were a fucking trooper. You copped so many hard bumps, man. Camille misses a spear and smashes into the guardrail. And this match just went straight into a hot start instead of that typical feeling out process. I really enjoyed it. I liked it being a little bit different like this. But they get in the ring and they reset a little bit to build back up the drama once again. Because, you know, you can't just keep going like this. It's going to have to go like that to go back up again. It's a roller coaster ride, bro. Nice work from Markova, hitting an array of moves, a spinning jazz stinger for a close 2 count. Camille hits a great wheelbarrow overhead suplex on Markova. So they're kind of going back and forth a little bit here. Reversal, hit this move. Reversal, hit this move. Speaking of reversals, a nice reversal of another wheelbarrow suplex into a bulldog by Markova. You know why? Because Camille's thinking in her head, it worked before. I'll try it again. But Natalya's thinking, well, I know what she's setting up for. I know what's coming next this time. I'm going to map out a reversal. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll grab her head and bulldog her before she can get me over to complete the suplex. Great psychology. What that's teaching us is that both wrestlers are thinking. They're both thinking as the match is moving on. Camille goes for a spear. She gets a knee to the head, then a double arm DDT, and my heart sank on the count because I actually thought, again, you got me again, Camille. You got me again. You're really good at that real late kick out, mate. My heart sank because Camille kicked out with a ball hair away from a 3 count. Okay, so Markova fights back. Not fights back, continues fighting and hits this head scissors on Camille off the top rope, which was wild. Like, it looked, to some they'll be like, oh, that was messy. But like, to me, like, I just thought it was amazing because it was so, not everything needs to be crisp all the time. You know what I mean? Unless you're hitting a shooting star press, you know, maybe then you might want to actually hit your opponent. So that was really great, but then boom, baby, spear out of nowhere. That's all it takes, man. Camille retains the title. And I have to give props to Natalya Markova. That match was epic, dude. The crowd chanted, "This is awesome," and they meant it. Not like when you watch some of these these pay-per-views that have taken place with other companies recently, where the fans just chant, "This is awesome," because, you know, they think that that's what they're supposed to do at this point in time because someone kicked out of a finisher again or whatever, which doesn't make any sense at the time. But this is when "This is awesome" chant actually works, because this is match of the show, match of the weekend. Thank you very much. Don't care. I don't care if you think, oh, you're biased because it's Camille. No, it's true. Watch every freaking pay-per-view of the last 2 years. She steals the show pretty much every single time. I don't care. I'm a brick house guy. Let's move forward. We get to the I said Crockett Cup again. Crockett Cup. Crockett. The Crockett Cup finals. Blunt Force Trauma taking on Knox and Murdoch. Out comes David Crockett, along with William Patrick Corgan, presenting the cup. I love saying that. William Patrick Corgan. We know you're Billy Corgan, mate. Okay, you changed your name slightly, try to pull the wool over. We know that you're Billy Corgan. We know that you sing for the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm sure he's just doing it just because he thinks maybe it sounds a bit more mature now. Billy sounds like the name of a guy who's a bit younger. Maybe that's what it is. Man, I really use my hands when I talk too much, don't I? So Italian, Here we go for all the marbles. 13 minutes left in the show, so thankfully not a long one. I'm not being a dick. I'm just saying, like, sometimes I don't want to watch a 25, 30-minute match, which is almost every match on an AEW card. An all-out brawl breaks out to begin this thing. Knox and Murdoch, I think they might have this. Knox gets spiked on his head for a DDT after Aron Stevens gets involved. Great DDT there by, it's Carnage, isn't it? Yeah. Carnage hits a really great drop kick for a man his size. Props to you. Big double line for Knox and Damage. They both go down. The suspense is building, bro. It's building. It's building. Aron Stevens is going nuts at ringside, begging for the tag. Then we finally get a hot tag. But soon after this, there's a referee bump after Trevor charges at Carnage, who pulled the referee in the way. Referee goes down. Trevor hits a pile driver on Carnage. Suspense. Here comes Aron Stevens. He's got the loaded glove on the left hand. Boom. Left hook to the face. Down goes Murdoch. Referee is still dead. It makes me laugh because the referees are so weak. Like, you got squished to the corner a little bit. You're all right though, mate. Like, rub some dirt on it. Yeah, great near fall there. Trevor kicks out, but then boom, out of nowhere, the high-low once again on Carnage. And Knox and Murdoch win. And we have our 2023 Crockett Cup champions. And of course, I was getting a little bit cross, but then I got what I was hoping for, a tight shot of Aron Stevens and his reaction to losing the match. That is what I like to see. Thank you. There we have it. The review show here for night 2 of the NWA Crockett Cup. Not Cockett, Carl. Crockett Cup. 2023, June 3rd and 4th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I gave yesterday's show a 7.5. I'm giving today's show, or sorry, I guess technically yesterday's show. The day before that was actually, yeah. These reviews are going out a little bit late, ladies and gentlemen, and I get the time difference a little bit wrong. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Slightly better than yesterday's show. And a lot of that had to do with Camille and Natalia Markova. Also, the hard work and efforts of Knox and Murdoch and Blunt Force Trauma. Can't really think of anything else. It was a really good show. So I've enjoyed, once again, my second Crockett Cup experience. I'm Karlifornia. Please check out our shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com under our store called Thunder Mifflin. Get it? The Office? Get it? Thunder Mifflin? Thunder, yeah. And of course, down in the description, $3 a month, 10 cents a day. You can sign up to our Patreon. We got videos on there that are too hot for our YouTube channel. You got to check them out, brother or sister. Thank you all once again. I'm Karlifornia. This is the WZWA Network, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.